So I made the internet, and specifically the Tekken community, really mad at me. For what? For this. This is Knee, historically the best Tekken player of all time. He has won EVO, the largest fighting game tournament, 4 times. Basically he won it once across every single generation of this franchise. And I just dared to blank in the face for 10 seconds straight, like you just tried to tell a bad joke to Ghost. Why would I do that? Because I'm an egoistic narcissist? No, that's not it. I mean, I do love Blue Lock, but maybe I was clip farming? I mean, a little bit, but the camera angle wasn't great and I was very much aware of that. No, the actual reason I did this is simple. It's all about mind games. If you don't know the context of this, let me give you a quick summary. This was versus Fighting 14, a British fighting game major for the Tekken World Tour circuit. We both won our group stages on the winner's side and were playing in the top 48 of the tournament. Knee absolutely destroyed me in game 1, which is what most people expected. However, in game 2, things looked very different.
5 seconds left to go. Empress really just playing keep away right now. I don't think there's anything Knee can do right now. Hell sweep, Empress, patient as you'd like it.
I beat him for 3 rounds straight. Now some of you might think I was feeling myself a little bit too much, that I'm a cocky bitch, and that's why I'm staring Knee in the face right now. No, that's not the reason. I was actually pretty terrified, cause the match just shifted from a certain loss to an actual chance at beating the greatest Tekken player of all time. In moments like this, you need to find every single legal, competitive advantage you can get. Sure, tournaments are about who is the better player, but there's more to it than that, than the gameplay. Most of the time, the person who wins on a given day in a tournament wasn't the overall better player, but was the player who had enough skill combined with the mental fortitude to win on that given day. And one way to give yourself an edge is to play mind games. Now what do I talk about when I say the word mind games? Mind games usually just refer to messing with your opponent mentally, in or outside the game. For today, I'm specifically talking about the outside the game aspect. Now why would I do that to people? Why would I want to mess with them? It's very simple. You know what it feels like. You know what it feels like to be tilted. I see you. You're still in ranked. You wanted to quit hours ago, but you're still playing. A matchup comes up that you hate. You keep losing. You keep falling for the same stuff over and over again. And instead of winning and breaking the streak, you just get more mad and even more frustrated. That's the mental damage that I try to inflict on my opponent, whether they are a top player or not. And I didn't just start doing this especially for Knee because I don't like him or I don't respect him or whatever. I've been doing this bullshit for years.
People don't really give them much of a chance. They just kind of see, wow, the teabag
yeah, starting off early.
Starting the beef early.
Yeah, I mean, the dirty tactics already.
I think mind games are underrated as a tool, even if some people will consider it disrespectful, especially to a legend like me. If it's gonna help me improve my chances at winning in a competitive environment like a major tournament, why would I not do that? I will do some very silly things to mess with my opponent and improve my chances at beating them. And so should you if the goal is beating your opponent. Now I get it if you don't want to believe me. As others have said, who do you think you are? Let's listen to another Tekken legend on what they think about mind games.
Now for tip 3, this is where you want to get into your opponent's head. This is where it gets psychological. You want to give them a signal that you're not that confident. You want to make them believe that you're not feeling good about the match. You know, say you're not feeling well, or say you haven't been practicing recently.
Wow,
or,
okay.
Yeah, anything like that. Or, you know, I'm not really good at this particular matchup once it's loading. Give them some kind of full sense of hope. And then once the match starts, be an absolute pitbull and steamroll them.
This mind game he is talking about is about faking weakness, to make your opponent feel more relaxed, to catch them off guard and unfocused. While this is definitely a good approach, this will not work against most pro players. I was actually doing the opposite. I was faking strength and confidence because I wanted a different response. Knee is over 40 years old and probably has played Tekken for longer than I have been alive. He is used to people thinking they are not on his level, but I also don't think that way. I absolutely acknowledge the legendary player that he is, don't get me wrong, but I don't put anyone on a pedestal. Every opponent is a human. Every human makes mistakes. And if you make enough mistakes in front of me, I will capitalize. The mistake I was trying to force was a character switch to Brian, his current main character. If you're not caught up with competitive Tekken 8, you might not know that Knee actually has a pretty bad track record against Reina players. You know, the goofy girl that I am playing. He has counterpicked me with Heihachi, his secondary character. I was not ready for this. I studied his Brian gameplay for hours, which is part of the reason I played so shaky in the first game and lost in very convincing fashion. In the second game, I pulled out a surprise win, 3 rounds straight, so I know I had to at least try something to keep that momentum going. So I made my decision. I decided on a targeted mind game. I know he loses to my character a lot. I know he is not playing his main character, so I wanted to see if there's any uncertainty, any fear in his eyes, despite his decorated career and almost infinite experience. And there wasn't. But maybe, just maybe, me acting a little bit cocky would get to his pride and make him switch characters. That's why I stared down Knee. I wanted to see if he had an emotional response to a game loss, and I wanted him to switch characters so I can capitalize on my preparation and knowledge of his main character. Neither has worked, and I lost game 3 quite convincingly, because he got into my head first, before I got into his. I got distracted by the thought that I am just 3 rounds away from beating a legend, and I made some silly mistakes. I got nervous, and I lost. He got into my head without actually doing anything. However, he was still engaging in mind games. He was just doing so inside of the game, while I was doing so outside of the game. Strong emotional responses in any direction will cloud your judgment. If you make worse decisions, you are easier to trick, and in return, easier to beat. This goes both ways. The stronger your emotional responses, the worse your decision making gets. Now some of you might say, "Hey Empress, you can't do that, I'm watching your stream, bro, that's disrespectful as shit." My question is why? Because I'm not big enough to earn the right to play mind games? Because you think they are toxic? Toxicity implies disrespectful conduct. How is doing everything I can to beat someone in a tournament disrespect? I think it is more disrespectful to not take an opponent seriously and to not use every tool available. I think that is more disrespectful than deciding to play the mind game. This man has competed for literally decades and has probably seen everything you can in esports. There's an extensive rulebook that no one spectating or playing actually gives a fuck about that also protects players from toxic behavior. There's tournament organizers everywhere, ready to step in if something goes over the line. And most importantly, he can just tell me to cut it out if he just wants to play the game the straight way. How good you are at something is only half the battle. You also need to be mentally strong enough to actually utilize that skill when it matters. That includes messing with your opponent or resisting someone else trying to mess with you. It is part of the competition, it is part of the game. That's at least the gameplay reason. There is a more personal reason. I like it. I think it's fun. Everyone is so fucking scared of showing either confidence or personality. No one wants to look arrogant, no one wants to be cringe. And I just quite frankly don't care. I want to be one of the best Tekken players in the world, and I'm not shy about it. I want to be better than me someday. I want to be better than every player on the ranking. Someday. I'm not right now, and I'm very much aware of that, but I will use every tool I can to get to that point. And if you are a competitive person trying to directly beat others in competition, you should have the same mindset. The goal is to win. Now, of course, this is different if you just play online with your friends, if you're just, casual and, enjoy the game. To me, the enjoyment is trying everything I can to get better, and that involves being a little bit of and messing with people mentally. It's never anything personal, there's never any insults, it's always just about competing. It is about winning. That's what I'm trying to do. And this is why I did something that I knew some people would hate me for.